Mr. Coops Captain is on the shot clock. Mr. Donnelly is the athletic trainer. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for standing for our national anthem, which will be sung by Captain Odell, a senior at Keaton Central School.
Hello everybody, I'm Joey Trombley calling tonight's game along with Calvin Castine on the camera for Hometown Cable. It's Championship Saturday here at the Fieldhouse at Plattsburgh State. It's the Elizabethtown Lions against the Chazy Eagles, the championship game. These two teams met earlier this year down in Elizabethtown. Elizabethtown won that game 49-36. Based on the score, you would think that Elizabethtown totally controlled that game, but that was not so. It was a very tight game down in Elizabethtown. It wasn't until late in the fourth quarter that Elizabethtown took control of the game and they won that game by 13. There was the much anticipated matchup back in Chazy for the rematch game, and that score was 54-45 Elizabethtown, but that game was not as close as the score indicated. Elizabethtown came out of that game sizzling in the first quarter. They were ahead 24-5. Everything they shot up, they made. Chazy couldn't make anything, and for all practical purposes, that game was done after the first quarter. The second and third quarter were played pretty evenly, and then the fourth quarter, both coaches emptied the bench, and Chazy came back. But it was Elizabethtown. Chazy, to win this game, will have to play their perfect game. Elizabethtown is undefeated, has beaten them twice, and would be the heavy favorite. Ellis will take the three-pointer. Ellis in and out, and rebound by McKinley. McKinley has been strong for Elizabethtown all year under the boards. He's a big guy, takes up a lot of space underneath, and can grab the rebound. Shot goes up, and the boards go to number 11. For Elizabethtown, that was Mowry with the rebound. Hume can hit it from the outside. He misses. Rebound again by Mowry. Elizabethtown comes into this game with Huddig scoring almost 18 points. Huddig had a monster game in the semifinals, hitting 6 3-pointers for Elizabethtown. But if you stop Huddig, you got Ratliff, you got Hume and Mowry all in double digits. Of course, it's no secret for Chazy. If you can shut down Lewis and Ellis, you can control the Chazy offense. But right now, it's been all Elizabethtown early here in the first quarter. Stolen away by Bradley over to Ellis. It's a 2-0 Elizabethtown lead. Ellis with the ball, looking to slow it up. He'll give it to Lewis. And that's what Chazy does most of the time. Give the ball to Lewis. He's the playmaker. He'll hang on to the ball. He'll try to find somebody underneath, or he'll go into the paint. He's into the paint now, inside to Goodwin. Goodwin taking the shot. Goodwin should have went off the backboard there, Calvin.
Yes, he should have, but he ended up with an angle right in front of the basket. He came up short.
It was a nice feed from Lewis to Andy Goodwin. Goodwin has to make those buckets. Going back to the first two games down in Elizabethtown, the difference in the game was Kenny Boyer and Andy Goodwin had a tough time underneath making layups. They were very cold underneath, and they end up losing that game. And a foul called on Parker. Parker calls a foul against Corey Ellis, it looks like. And it is. It's the first one on Ellis.
Ellis wasn't there for the second meeting in Chazy, and we'll see if he'll be a factor in tonight's game, Joey.
Well, it's playoff basketball. The last time that Elizabethtown won this title was back in 1980. They beat Crown Point 61-53. That was a D title. And there you are, Ratliff nails a three-pointer, and it's a 5-0 Elizabethtown lead. Kenny Blair with the ball. He pushes it over to Goodwin. Goodwin's going to go in the paint, pushes it out to Ellis. Ellis has the look, and Ellis hits nothing but net. And speaking of Corey Ellis, Ellis comes into the game the leading scorer for Chazy, averaging 15 points a game. Lewis averages about 10. Then Kenny Blair averages 7 and Goodwin 6. But right now it's a tight game, 5-3. And back in 1973, Elizabethtown won the championship as they beat Crown Point again, 69-53. Ball is controlled by Bradley, over to Ellis. Chazy has the numbers with Goodwin. Ellis will try to go. Offensive foul on Ellis. Ellis should have given the ball up to Goodwin on that one, Calvin.
And he just picked up his second foul with 4 minutes and 37 seconds gone. And that could be a big factor in tonight's ball game, that one move right there.
They need Ellis for this game to have any chance, and that was a bad foul on Corey Ellis. He should have given the ball up to Goodwin. Ball back to Elizabethtown. Ratliff has a lot of speed. Quite frankly, all the Elizabethtown players are very, very fast. And 3 seconds on McKinley. Ball over to Chazy. The last time Elizabethtown was in the championship game was way back in 1987. We're talking 20 years ago, and they lost that game to Scroon Lake 52-48. On the Chazy side, Chazy was last time they won it was back in 1994. They beat Crown Point 56-47. They won it back in their glory years, back in 74-75. They won it back-to-back back then. And they won those games against Willsboro 49-40 and 75. And they won and Goodwin inside makes the bucket. The game is tied. And Chazy won it back in 74, 67-53 against Westport. We're 5-5 here, approaching the halfway point in the first quarter. And the last time that Chazy was here was back in 96. And they lost to Scroon Lake 45-38. Lewis has the ball. We're tied up at 5. Goodwin has the lane. Goodwin off the backboard. Goodwin back up. Goodwin makes the bucket. After being trailing 5-0, Chazy has come back with the last 7 points. And the Chazy faithful are into the game here, with Ratliff taking the ball up for Elizabethtown. It is definitely a playoff atmosphere here at the Fieldhouse. 7-5 Chazy in the first quarter. Hume with the ball off the backboard. And Garrett Hume makes the bucket. The game is tied 7-all. We have a good contingency for E-Town fans and Chazy fans here today. It's big time basketball at the Fieldhouse, and Maury is called for the foul. Calvin, a tight game early. Are you surprised what you're seeing so far?
Nothing surprises me, Joey.
You've seen a lot of these games, that's why you play the games. It's very hard to beat somebody 3 times in one season.
That's the soccer team, right?
I didn't say that. You brought that up. I'm just saying in any sport, it's tough to beat somebody 3 times in one season.
Yep, during the soccer season, Chazy had the 2 wins during the regular season and then lost to E-Town, so they're hoping that tonight will reverse, or this afternoon will reverse what happened in the soccer season.
Well, Lewis is called for the foul. Ellis has 2, Lewis 1. You don't want to get their Chazy guards in foul trouble, or it will be lights out for them, I would think. As it's Lewis and Ellis are the big top scoring threats for Chazy. Right now you have Huddig, and Huddig is a pure shooter from the outside. He's been quiet so far tonight, but I'm sure before the game's done we'll hear more about Joe Huddig. And 3-pointer. I was looking at my book. Who scored that? Was that Huddig or that Hume?
23 Hume.
Hume. Garrett Hume, and he's a hot shooter, has given E-Town the 3-point lead, 10-7. Goodwin over to Kenny Blair.
Well, Chazy stays in that zone much longer. They may find themselves down by quite a bit. Because E-Town seems to be hitting from the outside, and Huddig hasn't even gotten into the program yet.
Well, a good hustle by Andy Goodwin. He went on the ground, but the Parker says ball goes to Elizabethtown. We're at the 3-minute mark here in the first quarter. It's 10-7 Elizabethtown. And we have Huddig bringing the ball up over to Steve Plank, who is in the game right now.
You notice E-Town sets up with a man in the high post. That cuts your 2 defenders at the top and opens up a lot of possibilities for the Lions.
Inside to Hume. And Hume is called by Joey Bradley. Garrett Hume on a nice feed, takes it to the hoop. It's been a game of streaks early. E-Town had the first 5, Chazy got the next 7, and now the next 7 have gone to Elizabethtown with a 12-7 lead.
Yeah, I really think that if Chazy stays with that 2-3 and the Elizabethtown-Lewis Lions stick with this 1-3-1 offense, it could be a long night for Chazy.
In and out, rebound Bradley, and he gives it up to Lewis. But I'm not sure Chazy can stay with them one-on-one, though. They're a very fast team.
Well, there are other zones besides the 2-3.
That is true. It is Lewis with the ball. There's movement from Chazy. Ellis is going off on the left side, picked by Kenny Boyer. Lewis looking to make something happen, loses his dribble, inside to Joey Bradley. Knocked away by McKinley, picked up by Ratliff. Ratliff taking it up. There's Huddig. He misses that one. And good play by Hume, but he gets it over to Ellis. Lewis trying to get it, but Leif McKinley. Good hustle by McKinley, the big guy, knocks it away from Lewis, out of bounds. And we have a sub in, and it is Mowry back in and Plank out. Mowry will guard Lewis, and the ball goes out to Kenny Boyer. Kenny quits his dribble, over to Goodwin. Goodwin over to Ellis. Ellis will take the three-pointer. In and out, rebound, knocked away, goes into the hands of Ratliff. He's being guarded closely, gives it up to Huddig. And Huddig takes the ball. Cross center court, goes right side over to Mowry. Mowry looking to go baseline. Inside to McKinley. McKinley loses it to Bradley. Over to Ellis. Ellis with the ball. Being guarded closely by Ratliff. Ratliff is a very fast player. And travel on Corey Lewis. We have a minute 22 here in the first quarter. It's a 5-point Elizabethtown lead with Mowry with the ball. Hume goes left side over to Huddig. Huddig inside of McKinley, back out to Mowry. Elizabethtown moving the ball very well. And Elizabethtown is very, very fast. A beautiful play by Mowry. He'll go to the line for another basket. They're up by 7.
And that play all started with getting the ball to the man in the high post, McKinley. That breaks up that 2-3.
And it worked to perfection at that point. And you've been saying that the whole period. It's 9 straight points for Elizabethtown. They lead 14-7. Garrett Hume is out of the game. Steve Plank is in the game. Evan Green has checked in, and Corey Ellis has taken a little breather right now. Goodwin goes up for the rebound, and ball to Lewis. Chazy down 14-7 with a minute 4 to go here in the first quarter. Lewis with the ball, picked by Evan Green. He's into the paint, and he's fouled. It looks like on Plank. No, it's on Mowry. That's his second, so Mowry comes out. Garrett Hume will come quickly back into the game. Chazy will get the ball underneath. Goodwin with the ball. Over to Lewis. Lewis being double teamed. Picked up by Plank. Lewis looking to get through. Into the paint, and the athleticism of Corey Lewis, 2 points, took it to the hoop. 14-9 Chazy, trailing by 5 with Steve Plank with the ball. Plank has Hume wide open on the right. Hume is open. He takes a shot. Goodwin had the ball knocked out of his hands on the rebound. And here comes Huddig. Huddig with the ball inside to McKinley. Out to Plank. Plank, no, that's actually Ratliff. Ratliff over to Hume. Hume will take the shot off the glass. Rebound Kenny Boyer over to Corey Lewis. Lewis trying to get the Chazy to double digits. They're down by 5. Coach Guerin calling for the last shot. We're under 10. Lewis is looking to take the shot. Lewis will be called offense. And you knew that could possibly happen. He wanted it. They stood their ground. And that's the second foul on Corey Lewis. And it'll be E-Town ball with 3.3 seconds here in the first quarter. And they'll just kind of let the first quarter come to an end. No shot. The shot would not have counted. First quarter comes to an end. Elizabethtown 14, Chazy 9. Okay, we're back to start the second quarter. Chazy will take the ball out. Calvin 14-9, Chazy trailing by 5. What was Coach Guerin telling his troops in the in between periods? What can he tell his troops?
Well, to keep hustling out there, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him go to some real full court pressure here. He's a big believer that his offense will take care of itself, and the defense is the key to the game. But I don't see them pressing right now. It kind of surprises me. I know the Lions have speed. Maybe he's afraid of that. I'm not sure. And plus, he got foul trouble on a couple of key guys. Exactly.
Well, Chazy had their first offensive opportunity and threw the ball away. And Ratliff has the ball over 2. It would be Mowry back to Ratliff. There you are with McKinley at that post position. Inside to Mowry off his hands. And ball will go to Chazy. Ball out to Goodwin. They got a guy on Lewis. They got Hume on Lewis. Kenny Boyer with the ball. Gives up his dribble. Over to Joey Bradley. Bradley in the paint. Over to Andy Goodwin. Goodwin making the nice move. Too far underneath. Hits the rim. And here comes Elizabethtown running the court. Mowry with the ball. Over to Huddig. Huddig goes left side to Mowry. Mowry, they're giving him the shot. Rebound, good position by Kenny Boyer to grab the rebound, and Chazy will run the court with Kenny Boyer leading the charge. Kenny Boyer out to Goodwin. Goodwin has the shot. He misses it into the hands of McKinley. McKinley pushes it out to Ratliff. They're running. Chazy gets back in, out over to Huddig. Huddig will try to go baseline. Pushes all the way out to Hume. Hume into the paint. Misses it. Rebound, Kenny Boyer, and he's fouled by Garrett Hume. First minute and a half, both teams have come out cold here in the second quarter, Calvin.
Well, like you said, it goes in streaks, and sometimes a cold streak happens for both teams.
That would be true. It's true in this case here. We're at the 6-minute 30-second mark. Lewis with the ball here at Championship Saturday at the Fieldhouse. Elizabethtown with a 5-point lead, 14-9. Kenny Boyer down baseline. He takes the shot. He misses. McKinley, the big guy underneath for Elizabethtown, grabs the rebound, and he pushes it out over to Huddig. Huddig goes right side to Hume, over to Huddig. Hume over to Mowry. Mowry tries to go across. He does over to Ratliff. Ratliff will go with his speed. And Ratliff in and out. Lewis with the ball. Chazy has the numbers. It's Lewis and Ellis. Hume. And the basket is good. Garrett Hume called for the foul. Corey Ellis makes the bucket. A chance for a three-point play. And to post Chazy within 2. Hume comes out of the game. Plank is back in. Elizabethtown has been playing with 6 players. Coach Guerin has stayed with his starting 5 so far here in the first half. Corey Ellis looking to cut the deficit down to 2 points here with this free throw.
Let's explain that they've been rotating 6 players, not playing with 6.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Good point. They've been rotating 6 players. And right now, here comes Joe Huddig with the ball. He'll push it back to Ratliff. Ratliff goes right side over to Mowry. Mowry looking to slither that defense. He goes up. Rebound by Lewis. Lewis will try to run the court. Lewis looking to go end-to-end. Inside to Andy Goodwin on a perfect feed from Corey Lewis. And off the hands of Andy Goodwin out of bounds. Turnover Chazy. And timeout Elizabethtown. We have 5 minutes and 34 seconds here in the second quarter. Championship Saturday. Elizabethtown leading 14-12. We're back from the timeout, and during the timeout, Calvin did correct me. The last time that Elizabethtown was here was not 1987, it was 1997, 10 years ago, where they lost to Scroom Lake 52-48. Right now it's Ratliff over to Huddig. Huddig misses the shot. McKinley. Bounced off McKinley, bounced off Lewis. Lewis gives it up to Parker, and it'll be Elizabethtown ball. They have a 14-12 lead with 5:22 here in the second quarter of this championship game here at the Fieldhouse on the campus of Plattsburgh State. Ratliff with the ball, looks inside to McKinley. He gets McKinley back out to Mowry. Mowry back to Ratliff. Ratliff trying to go inside. He's got the look. He misses. McKinley. The big guy McKinley grabs a rebound. He'll go to the line for 2. He's fouled by Kenny Blair. And McKinley is definitely a presence down in the paint for Elizabethtown.
And the problem the Lions have right now in taking advantage of their 1-3-1 is the fact that when the guys in the wings get the ball, they're dribbling it. Instead of sharp passes, to use that man in the middle to really set picks and to draw the defense to you, then you use sharp passes to get the wings open, and they've been dribbling instead of passing that ball. So the Lions aren't taking full advantage of their advantage that they have out there in that offense.
Well, McKinley nails both free throws and has extended the Elizabethtown lead to 4 to 16 to 12. Lewis with the ball. There's movement from Ellis underneath. Lewis almost lost his dribble. Picked by Kenny Blair, gives it up to Ellis. Ellis will take the three-pointer. He misses. Long rebound goes to Plank. He pushes it back to Huddig. Huddig with the ball, gives it over to Plank. Plank over to Ratliff. Ratliff with the ball. There's movement from Elizabethtown. McKinley and Maury are moving for Elizabethtown, and Huddig goes baseline to the other side. It is now to Plank. Plank will push it over to Ratliff. Ratliff goes inside to McKinley. McKinley looking to make the move. He misses, and big rebound by Kenny Blair. He pulls it away from Josh Maury. Gives it up to Lewis. Lewis coming up. He's bumped by Plank. And the foul is on Plank. And that would be number 5. Any foul from Chazy here on out, Calvin's a 1-on-1. So Chazy's got to be very careful on their foul situation.
Yeah, but you got to expect to be in a 1-on-1 with 4 minutes gone in the second quarter.
And Ellis was going to post up for the three-pointer, and he is called for the travel. 4 minutes and 10 seconds here. We're almost halfway through the second quarter. Elizabethtown with a 4-point lead, 16 to 12. Ratliff gets it over to Plank. Plank over to Ratliff. Huddig was working back door, but he comes back out. He's going into the paint, knocked away. Ellis has the ball. He's going to try to go end-to-end here. Ellis with the shot. That's almost guaranteed for Ellis, but he missed it. But good hustle by Plank. He felt Plank coming up behind him. And usually Corey Ellis is very good on those layups. He missed that one. And the Plank was looking to take the shot, but he holds up, pushes it over to Ratliff. Stolen by Ellis. He'll try it again. Ellis, there you are. Corey Ellis steals it and puts it in at 16-14 Elizabethtown.
He decided to use the backboard a little more that time. The last couple of trips, Lions haven't been setting up in that 1-3-1, and they've turned the ball over.
Yeah, you're right. When they put McKinley in the post, they make things happen. Ball's knocked out, but a hustle by Ratliff. He takes the ball over to Huddig, out to Plank. Plank, Lewis is playing off him. The ball goes over to Huddig, back to Ratliff. Ratliff looking around, goes to the right side, back over to Ratliff. Ratliff will take an NBA three-pointer, and it goes right into the hands of Huddig. Huddig goes up McKinley. A lot of movement going on here, and Elizabethtown comes up with it, with Ratliff with the ball. Good hustle from Elizabethtown. Surprise, no foul was called underneath. A lot of action underneath. Ball goes to Elizabethtown. Ratliff baseline is Huddig. He missed it, and there's McKinley. The big guy, McKinley again, is there, grabs a rebound, misses the shot going up, but he'll go to the line for 2.
Anytime you see a team getting offensive rebounds, the other team is doing something wrong when they get that many. I mean, they're going to get some, but the Lions have been getting too many as far as Chazy is concerned.
Well, obviously Chazy's not boxing out. That's probably the biggest factor. And McKinley misses his first free throw. He made the first 2 when he went up there. Plank and Hume is into the game. And actually Hume came into the game, and it is Maury out of the game. Plank was talking to the coach. McKinley misses the second. Kenny Blair grabs the rebound, gives it to Lewis. Chazy is only down by 2 at this point. Over to Kenny Blair. Blair takes a shot off the backboard. Kenny Blair ties the game, 16-16. Chazy faithful are making the noise across the way here. E-Town faithful are a little quiet right now at 16-all. 2:12 here in the second quarter. Hume with the ball. Plank over to Huddig. Huddig gets it over to Ratliff. Ratliff goes all the way out to Plank. Plank pushes it over to Huddig. He tries to go inside to Hume, knocked away by Lewis. Lewis trying to push it up and pushes it too far over Ellis's head. And here comes Elizabethtown running. Nice ball movement. Plank loses the ball. Open look for Huddig. He misses the shot. And Ratliff, nice play, takes the ball off of Corey Lewis's hands or leg. And the E-Town faithful like that play. Ball will be into Elizabethtown's hands with Joe Huddig with the ball. We have 1:38 here in the second quarter. We're tied at 16. Ball out to Hume. We have 33 on the shot clock. Plank back to Hume. Ellis trying to steal it. Good hustle. Ball out of bounds on Plank. And we got Mowry going back into the game. And Plank will be coming out of the game. And Coach Guerin wants a timeout with 1:31 to go here in the second quarter. We're tied at 16. We're back from the timeout.
What was Rob Guerin hollering?
I don't know, but he wasn't happy. Kenny Boyer with the ball. Out to Andy Goodwin. Goodwin's into the paint. Inside to Joey Bradley. Bradley takes a shot. He misses. Kenny Boyer off the backboard. Kenny Boyer has given Chazy the lead for the first time in a while. And it's 1:14, and Chazy has an 18-16 lead. It is getting very vocal here in the second quarter among the fans. They're into the game, and it's Ratliff with the ball. Off to the right side, over to Hume. Mowry with the ball over to Huddig, outside to Ratliff. He's got the speed, and Goodwin steals the ball. Goodwin with the ball, looking for Lewis. They find Lewis, and they'll slowly take the ball up. 46 in the game clock, 28 in the shot clock. Lewis yelling to play out to Kenny Boyer. Kenny Boyer has the ball. There's movement from Chazy. Kenny Boyer over to Joey Bradley. Off the glass. Nice feed from Kenny Boyer to Joey Bradley. Chazy with a 4-point lead. 28 seconds here in the first half. I don't think anybody expected Chazy with the lead here going into the second half with 20 seconds to go.
Not with the way the first half ended, but I think the Lions have 14 to end the first quarter.
That was correct. So they've only scored 2 this quarter. It's 20-16 Chazy, 7 seconds. McKinley with the ball out to Huddig. He's got the hand. He misses the ball. And the shot won't count. And the first half comes to an end here at the Fieldhouse. And we have an upset in the making. Chazy leading 20-16. Again, I don't think anybody expected this. Elizabethtown pretty much owned Chazy during the regular season. They beat them down in Elizabethtown by 11 or 13. They beat them down in Chazy by 9. It could have been by 20 because Chazy was totally dominated by E-Town there. But when the playoffs start, Calvin, it's 0-0. What happened during the regular season doesn't matter anymore.
Nope, it's a one-game series. It doesn't matter what sport you're playing. One game can go to anybody. So we got a ball game. Lot left to play. We've noted that the basket on our right. Now whether they switch them around here or not, whether the basket on the right is always the one on the right, because these are mobile and they move them in and out. So I don't know if they. But what games we've seen in the past, that's been the toughest one to shoot at. So that could be a good factor for Chazy going into the second half, that they have the better basket to shoot at.
Well, we'll find out after the break here, but we'll take a break now. We'll be back to start the second half. Well, we're back to start the second half here. You can hear the fans here at the Fieldhouse. Chazy went into the break with a 4-point lead, 20-16. Elizabethtown will now go from left to right to start the second half. Chazy will set up in their defensive 2-3 zone, which they've done all year long, and Hume has the ball for Elizabethtown. We start the second half. He has...
McKinley's back at that high post too, I noticed.
Yeah, Calvin was calling that, and they got McKinley back up there at the high post. That's where things were working with them in the first half, and they got away from it. Hume is into the paint, and off the backboard is Hume, and a big bucket for Elizabethtown. That's what they needed to do coming out of the break. And they got Mowry on Lewis. Lewis was going over to Andy Goodwin, and Goodwin thought it was going over to Ellis, and turnover Chazy. And Elizabethtown quickly can get this game tied here early in the third quarter. They're down by 2, 20-18. Hume with the ball over to Huddig. Hume dribbling over to the right side. He's got Ratliff. And just like that, Elizabethtown has grabbed a 1-point lead, and we talked about that during the break. Elizabethtown is very explosive, and they can do that. They lead by 1. Back out to Kenny Blair. Kenny Blair with the shot. He misses. Rebound Hume over to Mowry. I would think if they go score another bucket here, that Coach Guerin will call a timeout. But there's a turnover on Elizabethtown. Lewis going all the way, and he's fouled. It looks like fouled by McKinley, it looks like. It is. McKinley called for the foul. Lewis will go to the line for 2.
Yeah, particularly when a half is starting and suddenly the other team is scoring a bunch, you don't want to let that happen too many times before you call a timeout. Unless your name is Orville Netto, and years ago he was playing against Beekmantown, and his team was making a big run to start the second half. Couldn't do anything wrong, and instead of Maceo Dubois calling a timeout, Orville called a timeout, and the run was over.
Lewis makes the first one, misses the second, but Goodwin tracks it down. He gets it out to Lewis, knocked out of bounds, but a good hustle by Mowry. Mowry's a very quick player and knocks the ball out. He's right on Lewis, and their strategy looks to be keep Mowry right on Lewis. I mean, as close as you can get without fouling him. Goodwin going off the paint. No, Goodwin baseline. Chazy up 23-21. Elizabethtown came out on fire, took a 4-point deficit to a 1-point lead. Chazy has responded with the last 3 points. It's 23-21 Chazy. Inside to the post, McKinley pushes it out. There's the ball movement Calvin was talking about at the break. And Hume comes out hot. He makes another 3-pointer. It's 24-23. Lewis coming down for Chazy. Lewis off the glass, misses. Bradley misses, and McKinley comes up with it out to Huddig. Elizabethtown is running the floor. They got a 1-point lead. They come out on fire, scoring 8 points to Chazy's 3. 8-3 advantage. Elizabethtown here in the second. And there's Huddig. We talked about Huddig in the first half. He was quiet, and Guerin says we better call a timeout. I know what Coach Holzheimer said to him at halftime, but boy, they come out flying, Calvin.
Well, they went back to that 1-3-1 offense, and they've hit a couple outside shots, and nothing like a couple of 3-pointers to give your team some confidence.
Well, they only scored 2 in the second period altogether, and in the first 2 minutes and 10 seconds, they've already scored 11. So that tells you how hot Elizabethtown has been coming out from the halftime break. Guerin wisely calls the timeout. His team's down by 4. They'll get the ball. They'll have an offensive run. They can have the chance to cut it down to 2. And we're back. Goodwin gets it out to Lewis. Lewis will take the ball, probably try to slow things down a little bit. Elizabethtown has an up-tempo game going. When it's up-tempo, it is definitely in Elizabethtown's favor. And some good hustle by Ellis trying to get away from Ratliff. And Lewis takes the 3-pointer, misses. Rebound Bradley. Bradley goes up and he's fouled. And who will it be on, McKinley or Hume? It is on McKinley. McKinley is called for the foul. And Joey Bradley will go to the line for 2. That's McKinley's second foul of the game. Bradley misses the first shot. Misses the second, and McKinley, who was called for the foul, grabs the rebound, gets it over to Ratliff. Good defensive effort by Kenny Blair. But the ball is in Hume's hands, and he has been red hot here starting the third quarter. McKinley, there's that ball movement, and Ratliff takes the shot. He misses out to Hume. Hume over to Mowry. Mowry, good defense from Chazy. Out to Ellis. Ellis looking to take it up. Ellis takes the move in and out. Ellis was in the paint, and it was in and out. Rebound Elizabethtown.
They should have squared up on that and not taken a little sideways shot. Took it too nonchalant, I think.
In the paint, the smallest guy for Elizabethtown goes up, Ratliff, and rebound by Lewis. Lewis with the ball, he's got Goodwin on the right side. He's at the top of the key. And Corey Lewis in the paint, off the glass. I think that's on McKinley. It is. The third one on McKinley, and McKinley's a big guy. You hate to lose him underneath.
And he's the man who's been on that high post, being so effective up there. But they haven't lost him yet. Only got 3 fouls on him.
That's true, and they got some other big guys on the bench. You got the Jeff Towers, a tall guy for Elizabethtown, who could come in and do the job for them. And Lewis makes the bucket. We got a close game. It's 27-26. It's what you kind of expect for a Class D championship. For any championship, you're hoping for a good game, and we're seeing one tonight.
Yeah, most of the games in the semifinals weren't that good, except at the Class D level, but the A's, B's, and C's left a lot to be desired.
Ellis tried to get it underneath to Andy Goodwin, and it was over Andy Goodwin's hands, out of bounds, and it will go to Elizabethtown. Corey Ellis had the right idea, just the ball was a little too high for Andy Goodwin to catch it.
Looked like he was blaming Goodwin for not being tall enough there. I'm not sure what that conversation was all about.
Probably a little frustration. It's a championship game, and Kenny Boyer intercepts the pass, gets it out to Lewis. Lewis is dangerous out there for Chazy. He's into the paint, off the glass. Right now, Elizabethtown doesn't have an answer for Lewis in the paint.
He's done a good job of penetrating, and a couple of their guys have some fouls, so they're being a little hesitant about who's going to cover them.
Good hustle by Mowry. Joey Bradley snares the rebound. Good defense against Mowry. It's Ellis with the ball. Ellis will pull up. Ellis misses the ball over to Mowry, or to Hume. Hume running the court. Hume off the glass. Lewis grabs a rebound from Mowry. Chazy with a 1-point lead. We're about 3 minutes and 15 seconds here in the third quarter. Lewis with the ball. He's got Goodwin right. He's back into the paint. And Corey Lewis is taking control of this game for Chazy. Chazy with a 30-27 lead. What can Elizabethtown do to counter that?
Well, they're going to have to put somebody real tight on them, and even if they have to go to a zone and one or something right now, just for a minute or so.
Ratliff has the ball stolen away. Here's Lewis. Lewis goes up, and it's a 5-point Chazy lead, 32-27. Elizabethtown came out hot. Chazy has come out hot in the second half. And timeout, Elizabethtown. We're back from the timeout. The Elizabethtown faithful are on their feet, trying to encourage their Lions, who are trailing by 5, 32-27. Hume started the third quarter blazing hot. He's got the ball now. Garrett Hume with the ball. Gives it over to Ratliff. They got McKinley in the post. And Hume calling directions. He's looking to penetrate. He takes the shot. Rebound McKinley. And a big foul on Lewis. That's number 3 on Lewis, I think. That's 3 on Lewis. And McKinley will go to the line for 2. And McKinley calmly sinks the first one. It's 32-28 Chazy. McKinley trying to take that deficit down to 3 points. And he does. It's 32-29 Chazy. Lewis with the ball. Being guarded by Ratliff. Lewis has got to be careful he doesn't get excited in the paint. Picks up another offensive foul, because of 3 fouls, 2 are on the offensive end.
Yeah, that fourth foul would be big here if we're still in the third quarter, particularly.
Well, right now, Hume has a chance to bring him within 1 or maybe even tie the game here. Huddig with the ball out to Hume. He had the look, but he gives it up. Bounces it over to Ratliff. Ratliff pushes it all the way over to Mowry. Mowry is a quick player. He tries to feed McKinley. He's fouled underneath by Joey Bradley, and that looks third foul on Joey Bradley. And poor defense from Chazy on the inbounds play. Hume was wide open in the paint. He makes the bucket. It's 32-31. Elizabethtown down by 5, has scored the last 4. It's now a 1-point game. Lewis with the ball. Ellis moving underneath. Goodwin moving. Kenny Boyer with the ball. Kenny Boyer with the travel. Good call. Travel on Kenny Boyer. And Elizabethtown getting their run now. This game is going back and forth. Hume with the ball. A chance to give Elizabethtown the lead. They were down by 5 a couple of minutes ago, but they've come back. Ratliff out to Hume. Hume with the shot. Rebound Lewis. Lewis with the ball. Important for Lewis to get by this third quarter without his 4th foul. Inside to Bradley. Bradley up. Misses the ball. Misses the layup. And here comes Ratliff pushing the ball. And Ellis played off him. Ratliff missed it. Rebound by Kenny Boyer over to Lewis. We have a minute here in the third quarter. It's end-to-end action. Ellis takes a shot. He misses. And it goes over to Mowry. Mowry gives it over to Hume. We're under a minute here in the third quarter. Chazy with a 1-point lead. Hume calling the play. He's got Ratliff on the right side. He goes down to Mowry. Mowry over to Hume. Hume taking the pick from McKinley. Takes a shot off the glass. And Garrett Hume has been on fire here in the third quarter. And Elizabethtown has a 1-point lead. Andy Goodwin with the ball. Calling for one shot. Coach Guerin calling for one shot. Andy Goodwin with the ball. 20 seconds here in the third quarter. Corey Ellis almost lost it. Recovers. Out to Goodwin. 13 seconds. Out to Ellis. Ellis to Kenny Boyer. Kenny Boyer over to Andy Goodwin. 7 seconds. Andy Goodwin's got to do something. Kenny Boyer squares up. Kenny Boyer missed it. Goodwin misses. And the third quarter comes to an end. A wild third quarter here at the Fieldhouse. Elizabethtown with a 1-point lead. They were down by 4 at the half, 20-16. They outscored Chazy 17-12 in the third quarter. They have a 1-point lead. Calvin, we're going to have an exciting final 8 minutes.
Well, we'll have an exciting 2 or 3 minutes. Hopefully it'll still be close down the stretch.
Time will tell. We'll be back after the break. We're back from the break, and my, was it loud during the break. E-Town fans were into it, the Chazy fans were into it. I think we're in for a wild 8 minutes, or we have the potential for a wild 8 minutes. Elizabethtown comes into this game heavily favored. They're leading by 1 in the third quarter. Inside to Goodwin. Goodwin in the paint, and Goodwin makes the bucket. He gives Chazy back the lead, 34-33. Garrett Hume was absolutely sizzling in the third quarter for Elizabethtown. Garrett Hume is the reason E-Town had the lead after the third quarter. He has the ball now over to Ratliff. Ratliff is fast. McKinley in the paint. Pushes it to Mowry between his legs. And turnover Elizabethtown.
McKinley was getting awfully mobile on that high post, and he's going to be called. Oops, somebody. Man down for the Lions.
Kenny Boyer with the ball. Over to Ellis. Ellis will take the NBA 3. And Corey Ellis sinks the three-pointer. And Chazy has a 4-point lead, 37-33. Hume with the ball. Goes left side. He gets it over to Huddig. Huddig has it, knocks away, but recovers. Back to Hume, inside to McKinley. Out to Ratliff. Ratliff with the ball, being guarded by Ellis. Ratliff trying to make something happen, goes all the way over to Mowry. Mowry's a fast player. He gets it over to, stolen by Ellis. Oh, Ellis stepping on the line. Good hustle by Corey Ellis. Ball will go back to Elizabethtown. Chazy with a 4-point lead. Joe Huddig with the ball. We have an upset in the making here for the Class D championship at the Fieldhouse. A lot of game to go, but Ratliff with the ball. Ratliff fakes a shot inside to the post, over to McKinley, out left side to Huddig. Huddig takes the shot, misses, rebound Andy Goodwin. He gives it up to Lewis. And E-Town goes back on the defensive end. And here comes Chazy. Lewis with the ball. being guarded by Mowry. Playing off Corey Lewis, probably a smart thing. Lewis is fast. He's looking for the paint. And you had to be careful for that. Corey Lewis called for his third offensive foul of the game. That's his fourth. He's got to be careful here the next 6 minutes.
He just plowed right through there, and that was an easy call to make.
Oh, it was definitely an offensive foul, no doubt about it. Hume with the ball over to Mowry. If E-Town can score on this offensive run here, and they do, Huddig, he answers the call. It's 37-36. Ellis with the ball, saves it over to Kenny Blair, and stolen by Hume. Here comes Hume. And a foul called on Kenny Blair, I think. Kenny Blair's second foul. And it will be E-Town ball. They're down by a point. Mowry with the ball underneath, out to Ratliff. Ratliff over to Garrett Hume. He shoots up, and big high rebound by Mowry off his leg, and it'll go back to Chazy. Corey Lewis has got to be very passive on the defensive end because they can't afford to lose him.
And they're not letting him loose either.
No, not at all. They're going to try to force the fifth foul on him. Joey Bradley squares up, misses. Andy Goodwin fouled underneath by Ratliff. And that's Ratliff first foul. Andy Goodwin out to Kenny Blair. Kenny Blair squares up, and Kenny Blair hits the baseline jumper, and it's 39-36. And now here comes Elizabethtown. We're approaching the 5-minute mark. Well, Calvin, you said the first 2 or 3 minutes would be exciting. They were. We'll see how the next 5 go.
Or at least 2-3.
Hume with the ball. Travel? Yes. Foul called on Garrett Hume. Chazy faithful like it. The Elizabethtown Sharon section doesn't. And ball goes to Chazy. Goodwin over to Kenny Blair. Blair gets it over to Ellis. Ellis has the ball over to Goodwin. Goodwin over to Kenny Blair. Kenny Blair in the paint. Kenny Blair takes a shot. He misses. And it will go out of bounds. And basically, players from Chazy have got to step up because Lewis is just out there right now, not doing much. Timeout, Elizabethtown.
Picking up that fourth foul was crucial, and the Lions have been all over him. Corey's got a new suit of clothes, and it's gold right now because he's wearing an E-Town player all up and down the court.
Well, Kenny Blair has stepped up. He's a senior leadership. That's what you need in a big game like this. Kenny has stepped up. Andy Goodwin has stepped up, and that's what you need from the seniors in a game like this when one of your best players or the best player is in foul trouble with 4 fouls.
Well, the big problem is that Lewis has that ball for Chazy so much. He's the man who moves the ball. He scores 10 a game, so he's not taking a great number of shots in the game. He takes his share, but his big thing is to move that ball and give it to other people. So they're losing their ball handler, and that's a big factor.
Well, we're getting ready to come back from the timeout. Chazy has a 3-point lead. They lead 39-36. We've said it before. We'll say it again. We do have an upset in the making. Elizabethtown has. Possible. We haven't. Well, yeah, it is. Well, Calvin, it is possible. I'm saying we have a possible upset in the making. And Elizabethtown has controlled Chazy rather easily this year with 2 games. And Chazy has a 3-point lead with 4:46 to go here in the third. Garrett Hume will get the ball out to Huddig, and he'll probably give it back to Hume, and he does.
Looking ahead, you mentioned at halftime that whoever wins this will be playing here in the Tournament of Champions and then meet the Section 10 winner here. So that's quite an advantage to whoever wins this game when they go to the first game in the regionals.
That would be, I think Joey Bradley picked up his 4th foul. That's foul on Joey Bradley. And that's 4 on Bradley. So Coach Guerin has got to be nervous here with 4.5 minutes to go. He's got 2 players in foul trouble with Garrett Hume going to the line for 2. And Hume makes the first one. It's 39-37. And he makes the second one, 39-38. Elizabethtown is so hard to guard because they got 4 players that can light up the boards. They got 4 players that average double digits. Goodwin goes up, and Goodwin gets the roll. He answers the Garrett Hume foul shots with a bucket in the paint, and it's 41-38 Chazy. Hume with the ball. He goes right side over to Ratliff. Ratliff back to Hume. He's got Huttig on the left side, and Garrett Hume is trying to do it all. And rebound, Garrett Hume. Garrett Hume has been an animal the second half here for Elizabethtown. He's been doing it on the offensive boards. He's been doing it with his shots. They're looking for a foul, and they get one on Mowry, it looks like. But you know, if you key on Huttig and you key on Mowry, Garrett Hume steps up. And if you got Garrett Hume, you got the other one here. Ratliff can score points too. So very tough team to guard.
Yeah, they got a lot of weapons, the Lions do.
Well, Bradley's inside to Goodwin. Goodwin making the move. He's fouled. Ball doesn't drop. Goodwin will go to the line for 2. And that was the second foul on Ratliff. And Andy Goodwin has a chance to increase the 1-point Chazy lead. He doesn't get the roll, it falls out. And Goodwin looking to make his second free throw. He makes the second one. It's 42-40 Chazy. We're approaching the 3:30 mark here in the fourth quarter. And Garrett Hume with the ball. Hume goes right side to Ratliff. Ratliff back to Hume. He's got Huttig, but he's not giving it up to him. Hume's got the ball. Trying again. Down low to Mowry. Inside to McKinley. And McKinley, nice ball movement from Elizabethtown. Mowry goes back door, gets the ball and gives it over to McKinley. McKinley makes the bucket, and it's a tie game. Kenny Boyer with the ball over to Andy Goodwin. Andy Goodwin going baseline. And Goodwin steps it up for Chazy. It's 44-42. Senior Andy Goodwin steps up for Chazy. We're 2 minutes and 50 seconds here in the fourth quarter. Chazy with a 2-point lead. Garrett Hume gets it over to Ratliff. Ratliff taking it inside, and Ratliff goes off the backboard, and it's end-to-end action, Calvin.
Timeout on the floor. Lions, to me, are playing too much dribbling on their offense, but they've scored, so that's all that matters.
Well, we have 2 minutes and 36 seconds. The score is tied 44-44. It's the Class D championship at the Fieldhouse between Chazy and Elizabethtown. It doesn't get any tighter than this, and we'll be back after the break. And we're back from the timeout. It will be Chazy ball, 44-44. Goodwin will take it out. And it is Kenny Boyer coming down toward the paint. Kenny Boyer over to Corey Lewis. Lewis with the ball. We're approaching 2:20 here in the fourth quarter. Lewis with the ball. Over to Corey Ellis. We have 11 seconds on the shot clock, now 9 seconds. Lewis with the ball. There's shot clock going down. And travel called on Corey Lewis. And E-Town will get the ball with 2 minutes and 9 seconds to go. We're tied at 44. Huttig with the ball. And we've hit the 2-minute mark here in the fourth quarter. Huttig will get it over to Ratliff. Ratliff back to Huttig. Picked by McKinley. Huttig takes the three-pointer. And there we talked about Huttig. There he was. Kenny Boyer with the ball. Over to Corey Ellis. Ellis up, rebound Bradley, and he's fouled by Mowry, it looks like. But we talked about Huddig. You knew he was going to be a factor, and he nails a big one here toward the end of the game to give E-Town a 3-point lead.
Well, a little bit I've seen of him, he's the kind of guy you could just hand the ball and you got a 50-50 chance of getting 3 points out of him.
The guy is smooth, there's no doubt about it. Bradley to the line for two, or actually a one-on-one situation. Big bucket from Joey Bradley. Big bucket. It's 47-45. And Bradley calmly sinks both of them. It's 47-46. What an exciting afternoon here at the Fieldhouse. Elizabethtown with a 1-point lead. And it is Huddig. He's the hero right now. Of course, a true hero for E-Town in the second half has been Garrett Hume. But Huddig comes up big. He gives it to Hume. And Garrett Hume, he nails a two-pointer. A 3-point Elizabethtown lead. And the senior leadership for Elizabethtown has stepped it up in the form of Garrett Hume and Joe Huddig. Corey Lewis comes up with a three-pointer, and we're back and forth here, folks. It's 49-49. The Chazy faithful are excited. The E-Town faithful are excited. We're under a minute to go here, and a very, very well-played, exciting championship game in Class D. It is Huddig with the ball, picked by McKinley. He has it stolen by Lewis. Lewis will take his time. Lewis for the layup, and Chazy has a 51-49 lead. Here comes Huddig. Huddig with the ball. Chazy up by 2, 34 on the game. It's Ratliff. They got to stop the three-point shot. Huddig in the paint. He takes a shot. Rebound, Kenny Blair. Jump ball, and it favors Elizabethtown. 25 seconds to go. Calvin, do you go for the 2 or do you go for the 3?
You go for a timeout.
Probably a good thing, because I need a break, because my throat, I'm losing it. We're an exciting game here. It's 51-49 Chazy. I don't think anybody expected this in a championship game. 25 seconds away. We're in a timeout, and we'll be back in just a moment.
It's an interesting situation here. Lions need 2 points. Do they go for the 2, go for the 3? We're about to find out, Joey.
It will be an exciting 25 seconds. How will this drama unfold? We'll find out right now. Huddig will take the ball in, and it goes out over to Mowry. Mowry over to Hume. He is hot, and he's short, and foul. It looks like a foul. One-on-one situation. The ball went into Corey Lewis's hands, and that would have been on McKinley, I think. It is. Corey Ellis the other day had trouble on this end with his foul shots, if you remember right, against Westport. Hopefully he can find the answer today.
Well, the Lions went for the 3 because the way they shoot threes, that's as good as taking a 2 for an average team.
And they're trying to freeze Corey Lewis. Timeout called by Garrett Hume for Elizabethtown. We're at 19.4 seconds. Lewis will go to the line for 2. If Lewis can make both free throws, it becomes a 2-possession game for Elizabethtown. The next 19.4 seconds will be very, very exciting, Calvin.
Obviously, the first foul shot, I'm very good at pointing out the obvious, Joey. The first foul shot is the big one because it's a 1-and-1. So if he doesn't make that first one, there won't be a second one. But the first one will make it a 3-point ball game, which means the Lions can't come down and win it on a shot.
That's exactly right. And I'll tell you what, with the advent of the three-point lane or three-point shot, it really changes the complexity of the game, I think, for the better. And a team's making a comeback, and they're down by 10. They go down and throw two threes in. That's 6 points. Things change very quickly. Well, we saw that against Westport when Westport came down and nailed two shots. So Coach Guerin tells his players, get back on the defensive end.
Chazy players are a little shook up. He wanted them back on defense. They're all going back. Kenny Boyer is the only one that stayed up.
Well, Lewis will go to the line. And he calmly sinks the bucket. Senior leadership, Corey Lewis, is 52-49. Chazy is 19 seconds away from a major upset, but there's still a lot of game left.
Possible.
He makes the second one. It's a 4-point Chazy lead. Here comes Huddig. You got to watch this kid. He is pure. Don't foul him from the 3-point line. Rebound Bradley. Over to Ellis. Ellis with the ball. Ellis with the ball. And he's fouled by McKinley. Calvin, I think we're going to see an upset here in the Class D Championship basketball.
With 5.2 seconds to go, that's certainly a possibility. The only thing that could happen, and I saw it happen in at Northern Adirondack this year, except it didn't turn out that way. Bobcats were up by 4. The other team brought the ball down, threw up a desperation 3, and the Bobcats fouled the shooter. Luckily for the Bobcats, the ball bounced off the rim and didn't go in, but they gave that team a chance to tie the game by a stupid foul shot with nothing on the clock.
Well, hopefully Coach Guerin will tell them, if you miss this shot, do not foul on the 3. Let them come down and take it, because they can't catch you anyway. Hopefully Chazy does not make that same mental mistake.
And the Lions would have to use the timeout. Otherwise, the Eagles can just use up the clock and not even inbound it with just 5 seconds right now. The Lions would have to use the timeout if the ball is dead. But if the Eagles grab it right away, if it goes in, then the Lions can't call a timeout because the Eagles have possession. So if the ball goes through and lands on the floor, then the Lions can call a timeout.
Well, this will be interesting here. The Chazy faithful are on their feet. Again, I've said this many times on this show here. Nobody expected this, Calvin.
Well, I think if you talk to Rob Guerin, he might tell you otherwise. I don't think he came in here expecting to lose.
No, they came to win. I think he felt they could beat them, but I'm talking about the fans. I mean, the fans, after you see your team win twice during the regular season, you think this is probably your year to win the championship. Well, we're going to see what's going to happen here.
You keep wanting to talk about soccer, don't you?
And Ellis makes the bucket. That could be lights out. And that's Calvin that keeps bringing up soccer. I have not brought that up once. You give Elizabethtown their due. They won that game. They deserved it. But it's tough to beat somebody 3 times in 1 year.
Especially if you're close.
And here they come. And Chazy will win the Class D championship. 0.9 seconds. It's 54-49. I don't think Coach Guerin envisioned when he took over the program this fall that he'd win a championship for Chazy.
Well, last year when he lost, Saranac lost in the finals, Coach Guerin said, "I'll be back." And he was right. He's back with Chazy instead of
back with Chazy. This is unbelievable, folks. Chazy is going to win the Class D championship for Section 7. And they'll go to the Tournament of Champions on Tuesday. And this is just an exciting moment for the program for Chazy. Huddig lets it go. And Chazy has won the championship. Chazy has won the Class D championship. They upset Elizabethtown 54-49. Elizabethtown came out hot in the second half with Garrett Hume, and I thought maybe Chazy would break, but they composed themselves and they came back to win this game.
Well, the weapons that the Elizabethtown-Lewis Lions have, you have to consider this a big upset here. Even though Chazy's lost only, I think, 4 games. I think they're 15-4. The Lions are 19. We're 19-1, or 18-1 coming in. But the Lions had so many offensive weapons that it's a big shock that they would be able to lose this game. I thought the offense went to too much dribbling and not enough moving without the ball and passing.
Congratulations on a great season and great The Eagles coach, Mr. Rob Aaron.
Well, Calvin, who would have thunk it, Calvin? Section 7 Class D champions, Chazy, in a major upset here at the Fieldhouse. Upset Elizabethtown Lions, who are state ranked, lost one game all year, undefeated in league play. They lost to them twice during the regular season. They win in the playoffs in the championship game, 54-49.
Joey, first time in 13 years that they've won the title, so 13 was not an unlucky number for the Eagles this year. We expected Lewis and Ellis to do their thing out there, but I think the other three guys that started the game all stood up at different times. And to me, that was a factor. In the fourth quarter, it was Goodwin coming through, but Bradley had his moments out there, Boyer had his moments, and they all stepped up at different times and contributed to this victory.
Yes, they did. It was definitely a team effort for Chazy. I mean, Lewis is the backbone for Chazy. He got in foul trouble, and the senior leadership stepped up. Joey Bradley, a big game for him. He came off the bench all year. But Coach Guerin's philosophy was, let's get a big guy underneath who was powerful, and Joey Bradley came into his own the last couple games, and he played very well today.
He's carrying on that Bradley tradition. Both his older brothers had very successful careers with the Eagles, and it looks like he's going to be a good one for a couple more years.
Well, folks, as Calvin would say, that's the way it was at the Fieldhouse at Plattsburgh State on this beautiful day here in March. That's the way it was in beautiful downtown Plattsburgh. Thank you, Calvin.